Let's find out how we can repeat some part of the code many times without using copy and paste. So let's imagine we have to draw 50 circles and we don't want to use copy and paste. There must be a better way to do that. So I'm going to start here with this simple program that just sets the size, uses the color mode HSB we have seen in past episodes, and we generate a random background color. You can see here I choose a totally random hue, but a random saturation and brightness that are low. You can see between 50 and 100. So we get this kind of nice dark background. Then I say I don't want any fill because I'm going to be drawing an ellipse, and I set the stroke color to white, 255, and with a low opacity. We saw this on yesterday's episode. So I start by drawing an ellipse, for example at 100, and size also, everything 100, very original. And there is our circle. So now what can I do if I want to draw 10 of them? Of course I could copy and paste down here, but let's use what is called the while loop, which is, the structure is similar to the if sentence. So there's also here a condition, would say I is less than 10. We need a variable for this to work. I will say it's float I equals 0, and then I increase the variable. So you can see the similarities with if. You could type here if and it would work, but the effect would be different. When we use an if statement, there's two options. Either this is true or is false. If it's true, these lines execute one time. If it's false, then it just skips. It jumps to the close curly braces and it continues. Maybe here, print end. So these lines will not run if it's false. When we use a while sentence, it's a bit different. The code inside the two braces will run forever until this is false. Or said in another way, that's why it's called while, the code will run while this is true. So in this case, we start by having I is 0, and then while I is less than 10, is I less than 10? Yes, it is. It's 0 is less than 10. Then it draws a circle. Then we are increasing I, so now it will be 1. And then here, instead of continuing down, it jumps back to the condition. And it checks now I, which is 1. 1 is less than 10, yes, so it runs this again. And then I is 2, and it's still less than 10, so it continuously runs this block until the condition is false. At some point, I will be 9, and then it will become 10. 10 is no longer less than 10. When that happens, then these lines are not executed. Then it jumps here at the end and it continues down. So we can try to run this program now, but we only see one circle because we are drawing all the time the same circle. We are drawing it 10 times. To prove that, I can here add a print. I could print with print ln, and I'm gonna print the variable I. So you can see it down below. And right now here you can see that all the values that I had. At the beginning, I was 0, then it became 1, 2, all the way until 9. And when it was 9, then it jumped out of this while loop and it printed end. So it was running this 10 times. So we could move the circle each time a little bit, so we would see that there are 10. So I'm gonna add here, instead of making it all the time the same 100 pixels distance from the left, I'm gonna add I, the variable I. So that will increase, it will make it first time it's 100 because I is 0, then it will be 101, 102, 103. So you can see it's drawing 10 circles. They're very close to each other. Now the cool thing is I can say I don't want 10 but 40. And the program doesn't get any longer. So now I'm drawing here 40 circles. Or 100, doesn't matter. It's really as simple as that. How could we separate our circles so they are not so close to each other? So we can multiply this by a number, by 2 for example. When you want to multiply, you use the asterisk, which you can find on the numeric keyboard. You don't use the X like you would write maybe on a paper. You don't write 20x45, but in computer programming languages, you use an asterisk. So what is happening now? Let's think of our numbers up there. Our variable I is gonna be increasing from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means that our value, x value here, it will be 100 plus 0 times 2, which is 100. 0 times 2 is 0. Next time we will have 100 plus 1 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2, so it will be 102. Next time we will have 100 plus 2 times 2, which is 4, so we get 104. So you can see the circles now are increasing 2 pixels at a time. Let's see this in action. You see the result is a little bit different. I'm gonna try to enter there a 3 to see how it changes. And it's getting longer because we are drawing 100 times an ellipse, a circle. But if we draw them closer, then it's not so long. If we increase the distance between one circle and the next, then it's becoming longer. If I put here 5, then you can see they are much more separated. What else could we change here to make this more interesting? We can also change the Y value. And I'm gonna add here also some separation. So the Y values now also gonna be increasing. The circles are gonna go down each time 3 pixels down. So we get this kind of tube. It looks like a tube. And we could change also the size. Now the size is constant. It's all the time 100 and 100. I'm gonna change the width of the tube. And I'm gonna make it wider. Like maybe 1 pixel at a time. So you can see it's growing. Every circle is a little bit wider than the previous one. It's going too fast down, so I'm gonna remove from here and 1. So now it doesn't go so fast down. And we can make it narrower, not so wide. So instead of adding here something, I'm gonna subtract. I'm gonna subtract I. So the first circle is 100 pixels wide. The next one will be 99, then 98, 97. That's quite strange. It looks like it's finishing there flat. Sorry, I mentioned this is not narrower. This is the height of the circle. This is the width, which increases, and the height is becoming small. And now I see why this interesting effect. Because I'm drawing 100 circles. Our variable is going from 0 to 99. And I'm starting at 100 and I'm going down. So at the end, it's only 1 pixel tall, our circle becomes one line. If I maybe remove even more, remove 2 each time, then I'm getting this. You can see we can get pretty interesting effects just by drawing many circles and changing the properties.